the important herbivore tapirs, or antas in Brazil, jungle horses in Mexico. For instance, wild tapirs, like for instance Tapirs terrestris, should be expected to stay in the range of the robots that prune fresh leaves and small branches, this for instance higher up in the canopies, and amongst others deliberately provide the wild tapirs on the ground with fresh foods like leaves or small branches with leaves, which after all is their natural and normal food. Tapirs are quite large herbivores and their diet consists mainly of leaves, but also includes fruits, berries, shrubs, grasses, aquatic plants, ferns, and succulents. They use their elephant trunk-like snouts to grasp and pull vegetation, this including leaves and twigs, into their mouths. Cassava and tapir meat. Without making any claims here, we want to superficially mention that the people or tribes with the best heart and brain health in the world, and that also present a relative absence of degenerative diseases, consume apart from cassava grown in carbon-agroforests also occasionally tapir meat, this from freely roaming tapirs. To complete information. Tapir husbandry in South America is crucial for conservation efforts, due to habitat loss and hunting pressures. Husbandry practices are employed both in captive settings like zoos and breeding centers, and in the context of reintroduction projects. The primary goal of many husbandry and management programs is the long-term conservation of the species, which is listed as vulnerable or endangered depending on the specific species and region. These programs often involve scientific study, population monitoring, and reintroduction into protected areas. This chapter is informative and no claims are made, but we are quite convinced that tapir husbandry and especially pure tapir conservation in carbon-agroforests would be far superior for protection and conservation than any of the other here superficially mentioned existing initiatives. Protect wild animals against extinction. Obviously, these practices as well as these farmers-foresters will protect at least certain wild animals, amongst others because they are effective, free, and important seed dispersers. To a varying but totally controllable degree, the wild animals will be decisive in the regeneration and consequently at least in the basic forest composition and structure. Human presence in the carbon-agroforests could be rather sporadic or really exceptional, like for instance for research. Instead of taking care of, or husbandry of domesticated and perhaps certain wild animals like wild tapirs, like for instance Tapirs terrestris, there is the possibility for husbandry of traditional or domesticated animals, but logically some control of predators could become necessary. This and other videos on this channel have been translated and/or dubbed into more than 5 languages, including the official languages of the 9 Amazonian countries, this to support this initiative and plan to unite the 8 billion inhabitants of the planet around this action plan for carbon-agroforestry, generating important jobs and boosting the economy. If you'd also like to support this initiative, subscribe to this channel, leave a comment, ask a question, or like